Good afternoon. My name is Christopher Durham.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And this is the Downsized. And as you can tell, we're in our kitchen today. Lorraine's hanging out over here with me. The camera's following me. I love this kind of cool tracking camera. I can do a little dance. Maybe I could do the line dances with the camera. Do the wobble, do the hustle, Anyway, today we're going to cook again. So you guys seem to respond pretty well to the cooking videos. So I thought we would do a couple more recipes this week, and they'll come out, I think, on each Friday. So we'll see how that goes. Today we're going to do a roasted chicken with a side of white beans. I love it when my wife makes faces.
White beans?
Yeah, we'll do some white beans and a nice, it'll be lovely, just trust me. So today I have your basic whole chicken. Now I know whole chicken can be scary to people, but there's no reason for it to be. The only thing you need to be careful of is just food safety. So it is raw meat, so you always want to be careful of it. I actually have a pair of kitchen shears. Now these are kitchen shears. These are not to make clothes with. These are not for your kids to do crafts with. These only stay in the kitchen and they get washed and sanitized in the dishwasher with hot water. So today I'll actually come over to the kitchen. So I've got everything cleaned out. All the prep work's back here so I don't get any chicken juice or anything on it. I'm gonna come over to the sink and you'll see Laraine.
Hi. How big's the chicken?
This chicken could be as big as you'd like, but...
Well, how big of a chicken do I need?
Well, how many people are you feeding?
Well, my family.
Well, I don't know how big your family is.
Why can't you answer the question?
This is a 5.5 pound chicken.
So that's good for like...
We'll eat it tonight.
2-3 people. I don't think it would feed us and our 2 girls.
Would once.
It would once?
You wouldn't have any leftovers. You wouldn't have any leftovers.
Oh, one time, you mean.
Yeah.
It would feed them one meal.
So a lot of people will argue over whether you should wash chickens. I don't traditionally wash chickens, just so you know.
You're not supposed to, because it gets the germs all over your kitchen.
It spreads germs everywhere.
And what do you're
I'm just, in these little packets, there's always a little like chicken juice. So you want to just do it over the sink so you don't make a huge mess and get chicken juice everywhere. So then I put the chicken, and this is a plastic cutting board. I always use a plastic cutting board for chicken. So it's a little easier to clean, because wooden cutting boards, the germs would get in it. That's not quite tracking me. Will you poke that a little bit? I was tracking you now. You raised your hand, didn't you?
I didn't. I was just sitting there.
There we go.
See
if I raise my hand, it'll track me.
Oh, all right, fine.
So this is indeed a raw chicken. Raw chickens can be scary, but they're not. They're super cheap.
Gross.
It's a great deal. I'm actually going to do what's called spatchcocking, and I'm going to take this chicken's back out. I know that's scary, isn't it?
I'm not doing that.
You're not doing that. So literally, he's just laying on his back, or she's just laying on her back.
Back?
Well, this front piece is where the legs are. Legs.
Uh-huh.
And
Ew. What's that?
That's the gizzards. That's the gizzards. So legs, wings. So this is the breast.
Uh-huh.
Right here. Turn it over, and
That's
this is the back.
Got it.
And all I'm going to do is take these shears and cut.
Kind of like biology class.
Yeah, kind of like biology class.
Dissected and a thing.
Will you grab me a Ziploc bag too, please? Thank you.
A big Ziploc bag?
Yeah.
For what?
I'm going to put this chicken in it.
Why are you going to put the chicken in it?
I'm going to put the spine in it.
What? Why?
Because I'll save the chicken parts, and then every few months I'll make a big thing of chicken stock. So
do you want a quart or
the bigger one?
So you're going to save this to make chicken stock later?
Correct. And I'll collect them, and I'll have...
This is why I have a bunch of chicken parts in my freezer.
Right. And then I'll turn him or her back over, and I'll nip off the ends of the wings, because those will burn. But they're good for chicken stock. Actually, that one doesn't even have one yet already. Put those in there as well.
Doesn't even have one yet. What happened to it?
I guess they must have trimmed it off when it got trimmed in the grocery store.
Oh, close this up.
Yep. Close that up, put it in the freezer. All right. So then we have a chicken. If we just pull him a little bit, press down, then he's nice and flat, or she's nice and flat. The reason you do this is because it's going to cook a lot quicker and it's easier to season. So I'll actually take it, and I have a large cooking sheet, a baking sheet, with what my wife would call a cookie cooling rack. A cooling rack.
Cookies.
It's a multi-purpose rack.
I'm washing my hands.
Yeah, please do. The thing about this plastic board is done now. We will take it over here and we will put it in the sink and wash it off because it has raw chicken on it. So we do not want to.
It didn't follow you.
That's okay. We're still getting the technology down. So if you do not hold your hand up, see this is directed. It knows me because I hold my hand up. So now it'll follow me.
Oh, there you go. So you washed the cutting board in the sink?
Oh, I didn't truly. Well, I rinsed it off right now. Then I have some seasoning mix that I just made myself. We won't do it, but I'll tell you what was in it. Would you like to write down what was in it?
Oh, I guess.
You could use any seasoning mix you like, from Lowry's to barbecue seasoning to Asian seasoning. It doesn't really matter, anything you buy. I actually made this. So this is a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of salt, and a tablespoon of oregano. I won't actually use all of it, but if you use, and then I'm going to very liberally season.
So say that again. Oregano, what?
2 tablespoons of salt.
2. That's the kosher salt, right?
Kosher salt, yeah.
What else?
A tablespoon of onion powder.
Onion powder.
Tablespoon of garlic powder.
Garlic powder.
Yep. And a tablespoon of dried oregano.
I got that one. Okay.
And I'm going to liberally season this. So yes, there's salt in here. Have no fear. You're probably spending money like my wife is and buying electrolytes, which are salt anyway. Salt is flavor. But there's no actual calories in here, so it's okay. You want to season this as well as you can. Flip it back over so the breast is up. Set that to the side. And I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Soap and water. This is one of those
there's soap in the...
Oh, yeah. This is one of those snazzy touch faucets. So you can actually just go boop and touch it, which is great for food safety. And then I will take a little bit of olive oil.
How much olive oil?
All you're doing is trying to drizzle it on the top just a little bit. Trying to get that skin crispy. Maybe a tablespoon. It's not very much. All right. You want to do this first because this is going to take right around an hour to cook. So then we will clean up after the chicken and we will put this in to roast. So the oven is currently on 375 degrees in the middle of the oven. That will just slide in there. All right, and then I will just set it for an hour. Now, chickens can't tell time, and that the time doesn't actually mean it's done. So I'll use a thermometer to check it to see when it's actually done. Then we will clean this up. And that will go away.
What's next?
Well, next we're going to prep some veggies.
Do you need to set a timer? Oh, you did.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I like to have a cloth under my cutting board. So this is actually a bamboo cutting board. But if I use the bamboo cutting board on the chicken, it would be very difficult to get chicken juices out of it. You don't want to do that. It's much more difficult to clean. And then I have 1 can of great northern beans. They're white beans. Could be cannellini beans. Could be any kind of beans you like. Black beans, if you were going the Mexican route, be just fine. I'm also going to make some green beans. I've rinsed these, and I'm going to recruit Laraine.
Oh, no.
To snip the beans. This is actually more beans than we will eat, but I'll go ahead and par cook them a little bit, a few minutes, and then they'll be ready for us when I make salmon later in the week. We can have green beans with the salmon as well.
What am I doing?
I'm going to snip the ends off the beans.
But I'm not... Just break them off, right?
Yeah, all you got to do is just like your grandma taught you.
Where am I putting them once they are broken?
There you go.
Okay.
Just that way we have nice fresh green beans. Anytime you can get fresh veggies, get them, especially if they're in season.
I don't like frozen green beans.
No, I'm not a fan of frozen green beans either. Then we're going to do the white beans with the mirepoix. So a mirepoix is carrots, onion, and celery. It's a French term. It's basically aromatic, tasty veggies. Again, these things add no calories, really. You're good to
I
go.
have some.
What would they count in Weight Watchers?
0 points.
Okay. And I do not have my knife. There we go. One knife. So I will take this onion, chop it in half. We're actually going to use the whole onion. We're at a place where I try and use as many veggies as I possibly can and things. And I need my trash bowl. Just put it right here to put trash in. So I split it in half just from the root end to the tip end. You can see the root there, the tip. Split it in half like that. Then I'm cutting the tip end off a little bit. I think I did this the other day. And then I'll actually peel it back. And you're looking to peel it back to get to the actual tender part of the onion. And that can come straight off. There we go. I'll do the other half.
That's a pretty nice looking onion.
Yeah, it's a good looking onion.
We got that yesterday, didn't we?
We did.
At Aldi.
Mm-hmm. And then I will dice these onions. So I'll do horizontal slices, and you're just stopping just short of the root. So it all stays together. So you just do them this way. And then I'll do them this way. And then if I go the opposite direction, I have a dice.
How did you learn how to chop vegetables?
I'm mostly watching Food Network and practice.
My mom doesn't chop anything like that.
I mean, I've also over the years taken some cooking classes at various cooking schools. I took a few classes when Johnson & Wales was in Charleston. I lived down there. I lived in Charleston for about 7 years and went to college down there. Was in Paris and took a cooking class, if you remember that one.
Yeah.
That one was pretty basic, though. That was kind of...
That's for tourists.
Yeah, that was the tourist cooking class. So it looks like a lot of onions, but it'll cook down. And I got these little cool handy dandy prep containers from Aldi the other day. And my bench scraper.
Why are you putting them in a container?
Because I want to get it all prepped first. So do what's called mise en place, so you have it all in its place, in its order. Theoretically, I would do all this and you would never see it. It would just right. And then I have a piece of celery. So I've washed this piece of celery. Sometimes there'll be dirt on the celery a little bit. It's okay. Just wash it off. It's not a big deal. And I'm going to take the celery and cut it in half. And then I want to cut it vertically 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times. I'm trying to get the celery about the same size as the onions were.
I don't understand how all this is combining. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, this is going to be like a bean stew kind of side dish.
Bean stew.
You'll see.
Have you ever made this before?
I've made variations of this. There's various French versions of it where they might make it with duck or rabbit or things. This is not that fancy. Maybe when you get around to winter, we'll make that. It's very tasty. So 1 piece of diced celery. Basically, I'm trying to get as much veggies and protein as possible into the meal. So then we have celery. Then I have 1 carrot. I'm going to peel it. I like these bow peelers, and then you can just peel all the way straight down. It's very easy. I think I said it before, and somebody said there is such a thing as baby carrots. No, there's not. They're just smaller carrots. There are younger carrots and there are tender carrots. So if you got one before it grew too far, but carrots don't actually have babies. That's a.
I don't think it meant they had a baby.
Yeah, I know.
They just are little.
Small. They're tiny.
They're babies. Tiny babies.
And then the goal is to get that carrot down to about the same as the pieces of onion, so it's all very similar sizes. I'm going to cut them in half.
That would be impossible for me.
So they're flat. If you can work with a flat thing versus a round thing, you're less likely to hurt yourself. So I'll take the flat things then, chop it like that, like so, and then do it long so it sticks. Same thing, make a layer. Long so it sticks. Doing on those beans, Laraine.
Mm-hmm. Didn't know I was going to have to do something.
That's what my grandma would have made me do. We would have sat there on the porch after we picked them. So
Yeah.
my nana, it's really would have been my grandmother, my nana, and my grandfather. We lived in Anderson, South Carolina. So about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes from Greenville, South Carolina, where I grew up, and about 20, 30 minutes from Clemson, South Carolina, where Laraine went to college.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. And they had, gosh, probably a half-acre garden that they would grow cucumbers, tomatoes, strawberries, corn, you name it. It was always something. I remember coming in pretty regularly every year, and they would have so many cucumbers. My grandmother would be doing pickles all around the house, and she'd have giant pots of pickles. There we go. So you see, it's just a dice. So we have celery, carrots, onions. I've got some garlic here because garlic makes everything better. Going to use 2 cloves of garlic. Are you writing all this down?
No, I'm doing these beans.
Multitasking.
All right, I'm not doing the rest of those. That's enough.
Well, you might as well finish them up, babe.
The rest of them are mangy. They're little.
Those are the tender ones. So actually, that one you don't even need to do. Yeah. Those are all good too.
Carrot.
And these beans, all you're doing is looking to pop off there's the little woody pieces at the end.
Celery.
You've never snip.
Onion.
Yeah.
My mother never snipped. My mother always got frozen green beans.
There we go. Green beans.
Yeah. Okay. Garlic. Count.
All right. There's garlic.
How much garlic?
2 cloves.
So my sister one time thought that a clove of garlic was the whole bulb, and she put a whole. She thought a clove was all the.
So if you guys watched last time, so this is 1 clove. It's a little piece of the garlic. Basically, I'll take my knife and put it on the clove, press it down with my hands firmly. Then I can pull the paper like outside off of it. You just get the clove. And then I'm going to mince that up. Just slice it and then turn it.
It slices, it dices,
Yep.
it makes tons of julienne fries.
Yeah, you and Ron.
Now,
both
how
did.
much would you pay?
You want it pretty small because you don't want to get giant chunks of garlic in your bite.
I hear the chicken in there sizzling.
Chicken sizzling in there. We'll check on it. We'll check on it. Just see. How much time does it say?
48 minutes.
All right, we got plenty of time. I'm going to push that garlic over to the side. And we will move some of this out of the way because we're going to cook some stuff. And I wanted some tomato. So we happen to have Cherub Heavenly Salad tomatoes. I would use whatever tomato. If I had a whole tomato, if I had Romas, it wouldn't matter.
I bought those for my salads.
I'm not looking for a tomato sauce. I'm just looking for tomatoes to add to the flavor. So I'll take them and in this case, kind of make them a similar size to what we were looking at before. But you know, they say you're supposed to eat the rainbow, so the more colors you get, the more vitamins you get. The goal is to pace this all out such that this stuff is done when the chicken is done. We'll see, the chicken actually probably takes longer than this does. Mm-hmm. I can typically, if it's a every night meal, make it in 30 to 40 minutes. If I get ambitious on a Sunday afternoon, I might do a whole afternoon's cook. Make fresh pasta, chicken pot pie, you name it. I haven't had a chicken pot pie in a long time. Not since
we do love chicken pot pie.
Certainly not since we started this mess.
Yeah, we haven't had one in a long time.
No, we have not. But I do love chicken pot pie. All right. So we're going to move this cutting board out of the way because I really have a very small kitchen. So I run out of space. Get that out of the way.
What are you doing with the thyme?
I will put the thyme in the beans as well.
Okay.
Then I'm rearranging kitchen pieces here. I have a pot of water that I've put some salt in because if you salt it, it'll make the beans have a flavor. I'm going to turn that on and just let it boil. And all I'm going to do with that pot is cook the beans a little bit, the green beans. And then I have a saute pan. And I'm going to turn on the eye that if you watch the one before, you know this range is either not hot enough or hot as hell. There's no in between.
There's no in between.
So it kind of is what it is. Very good. Let's see here. Olive oil. I don't debate over oils. A few of you wanted to debate over which ones are the best ones. We buy olive oil and butter 99% of the time.
We use some vegetable oil.
Occasionally we use a vegetable or something if I'm frying or about once a year I might get a yearning for a fried chicken or something like that. But it's,
chicken.
That's pretty unusual. Now, so a little bit of olive oil, we'll let that heat up for a moment. And that's, I don't even know how much that is. Not even a tablespoon. We'll let that heat up. In the meantime, I have a can of Great Northern beans. These actually came from Aldi because you know we love Aldi. Could be any kind of beans. If you wanted to get ambitious and you wanted a lot of beans, you could use dried beans. They taste better.
They do?
Oh, yeah, they do.
We've never done the dry beans to... We've never eaten dried beans.
We have, actually. Whenever I make ham and bean soup, it'll always be dried. And when I did I cooked for Lorraine's birthday party.
Oh, for my 50th birthday party. Christopher made all the things.
All the food. And so you'll notice there's a little bit of foam on these beans.
Why are they foamy?
Because these beans and garbanzo beans both have what's called aquafaba, which is the juice in the can there that you can actually whip up and make a foamy kind of whipped topping out of. It's the most bizarre thing. A lot of people love it. I've never tried to use it as an ingredient, but you
never heard of it.
Aquafaba. That chicken's going.
Mr. Chicken.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so the pan is heated up some. We're going to put the carrots in first because they take the longest to cook. And it's a little hot. We don't really want to brown the veggies. We just want them to cook. So you're doing a light saute. And I'll let them... What are you jumping back for, girl?
Protection from the
Protection.
cooking.
Here she is over here. See? Hi.
Hi. How long do you saute that for?
Well, I'm going to saute these carrots for a couple of minutes, maybe. And then I'll add the celery and the onion. What were you up to today?
Paying bills.
Did you go to the gym? Is your first time back at the gym after the cruise?
I did go to the gym today. I took my bar class, my normal bar class. Everybody said, Laraine, where have you been? I said, I was on a cruise. They were like, oh yeah. So I had to tell them all about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My favorite instructor is leaving the gym. I'm very sad. He's going to go into semi-retirement and teach at a different county facility further away from me. So, I'm sad about that.
So the goal is to just get these cooked down, just till they're translucent. So how many of you have watched our other cooking videos? Which one was your favorite? Leave a comment there. So I think today we've done 3.
I think this is the third one.
No, this is the 4th one, I think.
Fourth one.
The first one was chicken lettuce wraps. The second one was Ninja Creamy. So how many of you own a Ninja Creamy? That's a great question. And the third one was an omelet for lunch, a ham and cheese omelet and a salad, which not as many of you watched. So go back and watch it. Obviously, omelet was not an intriguing title for you.
I mean, I guess most people know how to make that.
Or they think it's hard. And I think one lady said, you had an omelet with a salad? I've never seen that before.
Okay.
It's a very French thing. It is a very French thing. It doesn't make it better or worse. It's just, it's...
Always looking to get more vegetables in. That's on the eye there.
We're going to use a little bit of salt because salt makes things taste good. Pinch. And some pepper.
You need to get some more pepper.
Yeah, there's really not much in this.
Yeah. It comes out okay.
It comes out okay. So this water is going to come to a boil in a minute.
I didn't know there was water in there.
Yeah, there's water in there.
What's going to go in there?
Green beans.
Oh, the green beans. Yeah.
I have a lot of different ways of cooking green beans, and this one I do quite often, but I'll take the green beans, snip them when they're fresh, and par cook them for 3-4 minutes. So they're very still fresh and green. It locks the color in. And very often if you eat green beans at a restaurant, that's the way they'll give them to you. I have a tendency to not like them still chlorophyll-y tasting. No, I like a little bite, but I don't want them to be raw. I then may eat them like that, cook them a little bit longer, stir fry them. I actually will occasionally do them in the oven as well. We ate at a fabulous restaurant in New York City many years ago called Esca. That was a seafood restaurant. They brought your sea bass out and filleted it. It was all salt encrusted, and they did a fabulous green and yellow green bean that had been oven roasted and a little charred on the edges. Those were delicious. Remember those?
I remember the sea bass. I don't remember the green beans.
Yeah, I remember the green beans. So we'll do that. Or if I'm channeling my grandmother, they'll go in a crock pot with some chicken stock and some garlic and some Worcestershire and cook all day till they're just old school Southern cooked green beans. And then we have a neighbor whose daughter thinks they're the best thing since sliced bread, so she'll be over eating every green bean if she can.
Caroline. You talking
Caroline,
about
yep.
Caroline? Mm-hmm.
The kid will look at her mama and she's, what is she now? 14, 15?
She's 14.
14. Go, can I have some more green beans? Her mom's like, I don't know. I'm like, girl, nobody ever said no to green beans. Ice cream, brownies, sure. Green beans, nah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is us cooking on a daily basis. I'll actually probably film a couple of these this week because we bought some stuff to do roasted salmon, some sweet potatoes. I'm going to make a meatloaf. Lorraine's it's not her favorite thing, but I love meatloaf. And we'll see if we can't do it a little more GLP-1 friendly. Although it's, as long as you don't go too heavy on the fillers, the breadcrumbs and stuff, if there's really nothing in it that would hurt you. So this is getting to a place where it's going to look pretty good. It's just kind of translucent. We're going to take the beans. We have more veggies than beans here. And we're going to take our tomatoes into the pan and our garlic into the pan.
Oh, the garlic's at the end?
What did I tell you last time? What happens to garlic if you cook it too early?
I don't know. Probably
Burns.
Taste good. Oh.
If you burn garlic, it tastes bitter. This is very veggie heavy. You could probably cut this with another can of beans if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. We like veggies. There we go. Then I have some chicken stock, chicken broth. This is actually in a container. It's time to make stock again. Use about a cup of it. We're just going to let her cook for a little while. And this pan has just about come to a boil. So we're going to drop our beans in, and I've salted this water too. There's a couple of tablespoons of salt in there that'll season that. And this says 34, so I'm going to go to 30 on that. I only have one timer, and my phone is filming, so we're out of timers.
What do you need to time?
The beans. Then I have thyme. If you've never used fresh thyme, this is super, super easy. Comes in sprigs, just like this. You don't even have to chop it if you don't want to. Actually, I'm not going to. You just hold it about this so you can see where the stem came off the tree at the bottom or the bush. And all you're going to do is pull down and the pieces will come right off. You don't want the big stems, you just want the little tender leaves. And get a good one. It's very satisfying to do it, so because they just pull off nicely. I'm going to use maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon of thyme. It's very fragrant. Lots of good flavor, really no calories there. You just want the tender leaves. The stems are kind of woody, so they wouldn't hurt you, but they wouldn't be fun to chew. Now this, I have it a pretty good simmer because I don't want it to be soupy and there's enough chicken stock in there. I'm just using that chicken stock to kind of cook it all down. Turn that temperature down. What time is it? 32, so I've got 2 more minutes. That's a good one. I'll just go. Let's get the tenderness of it. That's probably enough. We can always taste it and add more if we want. So lots of veggies, lots of protein. The world's largest tongs. These are actually grilling tongs. Now we've added the beans and all this stuff, so we're going to add a little more salt. And we're really cooking here, boys and girls. Oh, look at her. We're going to
You're gonna set off the fire alarm.
Yeah, the fire alarm goes off. I apologize. Ours goes off all the time. The house hasn't burned down yet. But I'm going to rotate that chicken. Right now we're just letting this simmer down. I've got, really these beans can now come off. I'm going to take these out. Use the strainer she had them in before.
That's the beans, green beans.
That is the green beans.
So you just boiled the green beans
That's all I did.
for like 4 minutes?
Yep.
And now you're putting cold water on them
Yep.
with some ice. Ice cold water.
Because I want them to stop cooking.
All right.
And we'll just set them aside, and when we get ready, I'll toss them in a little olive oil and garlic and heat them up again. They'll be delicious, and then we'll save the rest for when we have salmon, because we won't eat all those in one sitting. So this would be the beginning of what is a French cassoulet.
Oh, yeah?
So which is a white bean casserole of basically all of this stuff. Some white wine, maybe some duck, confit, some rabbit, you name it. It was a kind of rough country, winter satisfying thing. I've made it before with chicken thighs or sausages or you name it. Delicious. All right, and then we're gonna just let things chill out for another 30 minutes, and I'll be back to show you the chicken. And we're back. Lorraine's playing on her phone. What'd you just tell me?
I'm not. Oh, I found this really funny meme that I'm going to post on Facebook. You want to know what it says?
Sure.
I'll tell you if I can open my phone up. It says, nobody will remember your salary, how busy you were, how many hours you worked. People will remember, damn, they're always on trips.
Nice. So one roasted chicken.
Oh.
Okay, so now if you wonder, how do you know if a roasted chicken is done? Well, there's a couple of different ways. The most scientific way and the way I prefer is to use a thermometer. This is actually a folding quick thermometer. A chicken like this, anywhere above 160, 165, 170 in the breast, you're good.
What does it say?
It says 170, so you're good. So this is a very hot chicken. It really
needs to rest.
It needs to rest probably 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to set it over here to the side for a moment. Let it just kind of chill out. I have cleaned off my cutting board. I actually cleaned the kitchen shears. And when I say kitchen shears, the difference in kitchen shears versus just a regular craft scissors, right, is these come apart. Mm-hmm. And these are very heavy duty. So you noticed I was actually able to cut the bones of that chicken without any issue. When they come apart, they can be cleaned. So I use soap and hot water and get in all the crevices. That way you don't have any weird residue or remnants or anything.
Food safety.
Food safety issues. I also have the completed beans and such, so we're very good there. And then I have just maybe a teaspoon of olive oil in here. I'm going to throw a little garlic and let it brown in there.
I thought you weren't supposed to let it brown.
We're not going to let it cook very long. So anything that cooks a long time, it'll burn, so you don't want to do that. And then we have our pre-cooked or par-cooked green beans. So most of these we're going to save. We eat about, I don't know, maybe half of them. Let this just become fragrant in the pan. I have to turn the eye on, though, that helps.
I was wondering why it wasn't.
The eye is not on. It's all good.
Helps when you turn on the
let's see if we can get her centered here. Whoa, I love this thing. It follows me. I can do a little dance. This is how you line dance, Mindy.
No.
That's not line dancing?
Are you line dancing?
That's what I was doing. Did you see me? Line dancing.
Uh-huh.
No? No?
No.
Grapevine? What? No?
No.
All right, let's get that going. And this chicken, we're going to grab a couple of forks and pull it over to the board. Just let her kind of chill out there. You might be able to hear that beginning to sizzle. That's exactly what we want. We're going to take, we're only cooking, my kids aren't here, so we're only feeding Laraine and I. We'll do.
That's enough. That's plenty right there.
This is, so it's some garlic and a tiny bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I do it this way because it lets me use things later in the week and do this. So you gotta just, with the whole family, you just cook them through and eat them how you want to. Then I can use them in other recipes or stir fries or whatever you want to use it in.
Mm-hmm.
So really we're just kind of heating those through. And then we'll take ye old chicken, and you see the way it's laid out, that's actually a thigh and a leg. And that's actually a thigh and a leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like to use the scissors here as well. So you're just going to take it, trim right down the back, and you'll cut that breast right in half. Anybody was ever a Boston Market fan? That's the way I always cut their chickens, was with scissors. And then I have thigh and a leg, a breast and wing, and a breast and wing. Now, you may say, oh, that's a lot of meat. You can use as much as you'd like. And those are basically done. So would you like white meat or dark meat, my love?
White meat.
Okay, so I'm going to take some of these beans. Breast. It's a big piece of chicken. She's going to go. I can never eat all that.
That's too much.
And then I'm going to give her some beans as well.
Oh, 2 green beans.
Well, these weren't exactly the ideal.
You need like a tong or something. Mm-hmm. Tongs. Tongs, tongs.
Some green beans.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Laraine can do all the math, but there is a lot of protein and fiber right here.
Well, you got protein in the chicken, so there's like 30 grams of protein in like 4 or 5 ounces of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got protein in the beans. Probably that whole, I don't know, I'll look on the can and put it in the comments, but it's probably 8 or 10 grams of protein a serving. And the beans also have good fiber too. And the green beans, of course, have good fiber. And then all the vegetables have fiber.
Right.
So there's not really any, I guess the beans might have a little bit of carb, but not.
Beans will have a little bit. And then I like to use, this is actually a balsamic fig glaze. This is a little sweet, but it gives it a little punch. Just.
How about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just a little pretty glaze.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Lovely.
You can buy it at the grocery store. This is actually a Harris Teeter private brand.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would be at Kroger, Private Selections. So that's us.
Lovely.
It's almost like a real meal.
It is a real meal.
There you go, my darling.
Oh, thank you.
And we will eat dinner, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much for joining us for Downsized Cooks with nice roast chicken, a bean stew, and some green beans with garlic. My name is Christopher Durham.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And we are the Downsized. We'll see you next week for Downsized Cooks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Time to eat.